on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me. Can you hear me? Am I coming through, Rosa? Am I coming through, Bogdan, David, and Bonnie? What's up, everybody? Turn cameras on. I'm throwing people out if I don't see your beautiful faces, whether they're beautiful or ugly. I want to see them either way. So show me who you are. What's up, Ian? What's up, Travis? What's up, Jeff? Appreciate you, Brett Rogers. Come on, let me see those faces. Kate Huang, John Carlos, Mark Kuhn. Don't make me throw people out, man. I'm terrible that way. What's up, Jamie? What's up, Mark? Great to see everybody. Can everybody just type the city you're in the chat? I just want to know, what are we working with here? We got international here. We got Europeans. We got Asian. I know Rosa's from France. I know Michael's from the States. I know a few people in here, but I want to know everybody else is. What's up, Mike? What's up, David Katz? Turn cameras on. I'm going to make that as a prerequisite today. We got Travis in Maine. We got Mike in Toronto. We got Ian in, Mark in South Germany. We got Ian's in Canada. All right, that's good. Michael Rivera in New York City. Okay, I used to live there. Jamie's in Madrid, nice city. Pasadena, California. Who's in Pasadena? Bonnie. Jeff's in Long Beach, Compton, or just Long Beach? They're right next to each other, I think. We got Alex in Portland. We got Mark near Würzburg. Mark, is that Austria, Germany? You can tell me. Brett Rogers, Cape Town. Brett, give me a wave. Where's Brett Rogers in Cape Town? Cool, great city you got there. I was there back in the day, hanging out there. I used to climb that. I was climbing the mountain every single morning. It was fantastic. Who's in Long Beach is what Bonnie asked. Why, are you in Bonnie? Jeff's in Long Beach, Bonnie. All right, turn cameras on, folks. I need to see beautiful faces. I'm throwing someone out here. Miroslav, you're going to go. Robert DeAugust, you're going to go. Eugene King, show me those pearly whites. Kate Huang, great to see you on here, Kate. Yash is in the house, John Carlo. Folks, I'm going to drop some crazy AI stuff on you this week. I've got 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 guests on my show this week talking AI. I got Yatsu from Animoca Brands, who's going to be dropping AI science on Wednesday. He's only the most important person in the metaverse. Then I got Max from MIT coming on Friday. He's one of the top scientists in the world. And so he's going to drop science. I think he was just on the Lex Friedman podcast. So I'm excited to talk to him. And then, of course, after that, I got Dr. Ben Goertzel coming back on Friday night. Come on. Who's excited for that, right? It's all AI all the time. It's Dr. Max Tegmark who's going to be here Friday. So needless to say, I've gone deep, maybe too deep on AI. Can I get a show of hands? How many people are worried about AI? Just a little hands up, a little concerned about it. If your hands aren't up, you're not paying attention. Piotr's like, no, I'm not worried, Brian. Piotr, you look like you're coding the AI is what it looks like to me. So maybe that's not why you're worried. But yeah, look, I'm concerned. And the more I learn about it, the more concerned I get. And if you watch the people, next time you see Sam Altman do an interview of OpenAI, watch him. His voice is a little bit like, it shakes a little bit because he's scared, right? Look at the big experts in AI. They're all a little scared, and they should be, because they're creating monsters. It's a bit like the atomic bomb. When Robert Oppenheimer worked on the Manhattan Project in 1944 in Los Alamos in New Mexico, he knew he was creating something that potentially could kill off humanity. And that's what these AI guys are doing. They've always known that. They're like dancing with the devil. They've always known that. But now ChatGPT shocked the hell out of everyone. Did anyone see my interview with Professor Hugo de Gavis on Friday? Did anybody see that? This guy was a classic. Rosa saw it, yeah? This guy's down in Australia. He made a movie with Dr. Ben Goertzel called Singularity or Bust 12 years ago. He is OG. And he wrote a book called The Artilect War, which is this scenario where humanity divides and fights to the death, to 1 billion deaths. One side fights to create these godlike AIs, and the other fights to not create them to keep humanity alive. Now, how many people think that's far-fetched? Raise your hands if you think that's far-fetched. Couple here. Okay, I appreciate your honesty, Mr. Carlos. I appreciate that. Anybody else? Look, I'm not saying there's going to be, he calls it a gigadeath. By the way, he's got really cool names. You got to watch my interview with him. It's really, he's one of a kind. He reminds me of the scientist in the movie War Games. Anybody watch the movie War Games with Matthew Broderick? Come on, you know you're old if you watch that, right, David? Okay, Brett Rogers. You know, that the scientist had moved to the island, right? Because he thought everybody was going to die, right? Remember that guy? And the kid, Matthew Broderick, had to go find him on the island. And he said, why bother? We're going to kill each other. And then the kid, Matthew Broderick, convinced him to come to NORAD to save the world. Does everyone remember that? Come on, folks. Basically, Hugo de Gavis is that guy. He quit AI, quit everything. He's down in Australia because he's like, we're all dead. And I talked to him and he had some fascinating insights. So I want to drop all that science on you and tell you what we're seeing behind the scenes. Also tell you how we plan to change the future by investing in it, because we found a group of people and a project that is the only chance I've ever seen to create a benevolent AI, if that does exist. And I mean, honestly, you have to have benevolent people to create a benevolent AI. Put your hands up if you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Probably, right? All right, so everybody's here on the same wavelength. Okay, good. All right, I feel bad for the people I'm about to throw out. Kate Huang, I saw your face and now you're gone. Kate, I'm throwing you out. Nick Sharma, I'm throwing you out. Eugene King, all right, I hate doing this. All right, I'm throwing people out. Who goes first? Anybody want to vote? I'm gonna do this. Ivan, oh man, I hate doing this. You're gone. Oh man. Kate, I'm gonna give you one more chance and then I'm gonna have to throw you out. I can't let everybody do this. Vicky Williams, I'm throwing you out. I'm sorry, Vicky. A couple other people. I got to see some beautiful faces here. All right, I'm going to remove it. Pippa Crompton, I'm sure you're a nice person, but you're gone. All right, turn these cameras on, folks. You're going to wish you would have saw this because this is hot. All right, drop a couple more people out. We'll get Martini to throw out the rest. All right, so turn cameras on. We're going to move fast. If you have any comments or questions, put them in the chat and I'll answer those at the end. All right, is everybody ready to rock and roll with me? Okay, all right, let's jump in and let's do this. Okay, folks, so here we go. Let me find this thing. All right. Been cooking this thing up today. All right. Stay with me here. Okay. Booyah. All right. Here we go, folks. Okay. Boom. Can everybody see this? Just thumbs up if you can see this presentation. You got me smiling. Even though the AI is coming, I'm still smiling. Okay. Look, time is running out. Okay. And this is why you need to worry about artificial intelligence today. Okay, everyone is sleeping on this thing. I can't believe nobody sees how big this is going to be. But also, I want to show you how to profit from it. Now, look, I believe the only way to affect the future is to profit from it. I don't think we can go out and protest in the streets. I don't think I can super glue myself to the Parliament building. That's not going to work. But if I can show people I'm going to create $50 billion with an AI that's an AGI, artificial general intelligence, why don't you come with me? We're going to create an AI that's actually going to be smart enough not to do stupid things. Then I think people are going to come with me, the best scientists in the world, and we're going to create something and change the future. That's my thesis. Does that make sense to everybody here? Just thumbs up if it does. Okay. Plus, I'm going to use what I got, right? I mean, what do I got? I know how to invest in companies. I know how to potentially help people build projects. So I'm going to use what I got. Like I said, I don't think supergluing myself to the road is going to solve this problem. It's not. It's not. Unless you're proactively creating a better solution, you're not going to be able to change the course of AI. And this is happening really, really fast, folks. I cannot emphasize this enough. We are moving so fast and you cannot put the genie back in the bottle. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Once this AI innovates, you can never go backwards. Is that just clear for everybody? Does everyone agree with me here? You cannot go backwards on this technology. It's unlike anything else. It's one thing if you said, okay, blockchain technology and crypto, you know what? It might take a couple years off and slowly innovate while there's regulation. That could happen. It's happened the last year. It slowed down a little bit, not really. A bunch of our investments are doing well. But with AI, this is like the hottest thing out there and it's going to go fast, fast, fast. And I'm going to show you why and what we can do about it. So let's jump in and look at the news, okay? This happened Friday. White House summoned the big tech bosses and all brought them in the room. Apparently Biden did a flyby and put the VP in charge of AI for the future. I don't know, you can think what you want to on that, okay? But they basically told to protect the public from AI risks, right? And it literally got Satya Nadella from Microsoft, Sundar from Google, and Sam Altman from OpenAI into the office, okay? And that's what it said to them, right? All of them were there, and they were told they had a moral duty to safeguard society. By the way, how many people think that's going to be effective when the White House tells you what to do? I don't, right? Okay, a couple thumbs down here from Elaine and Bonnie are like, nah, and Mark. Okay, I appreciate it. Look, this is the truth. How many people are in crypto here, own crypto? Just put your hands up if you have a little bit of crypto. Okay, good. I appreciate that. Look, they can't regulate crypto. And crypto is not that complicated. AI is about 100 times more complicated and divisive and also nefarious and also very difficult to even pin down where it is or what it is. So I'm not too confident on what the White House is doing. What else? We've seen the godfather of AI leave Google. This is the guy that Professor Hugo de Gavis was telling me about on Friday. All of my AI experts, from Ben Goertzel to Mo Gaudet, all these people talk about this guy. They're like, Jeffrey Hinton was the only guy that believed in neural networks back in the day. He's the guy that pushed this technology forward. Ilya, who's the chief technology officer at OpenAI, trained under this guy, and he quit Google. And now he's going to go out on his own and he's going to talk to everybody about the dangers of AI. Does anyone need more of a sign than this? There's more. Goldman Sachs just came out and said ChatGPT is going to impact 300 million jobs. Not 3 million jobs, which would be a lot, by the way. 300 million jobs. Do you know how many new jobs were created last month in America? The non-farm payroll number. Does anybody know that number? It's a big number if you a former Wall Street trader like me. It increased about 240,000 new jobs that were non-farm jobs, which means the economy is still growing fairly well. Unemployment was like 3.6. 240,000 new jobs. Imagine 300 million jobs gone. Do you think that's going to affect the economy or unemployment or anything? Raise your hand if you think it might have a little bit of an impact, right? I mean, this is like mass riots in the street type stuff, right? What do you do with 300 million people that don't have an income? What are you going to do? Cut them a check? For how long? What are you going to do with their spare time? Like, this doesn't work. And this is just the beginning. I'm going to show you more. Of course, everyone's saying, should we shut AI down? Okay. So Max, who's coming on the show Friday, was part of the open letter. I think he actually penned the letter that was written by 1,000 AI scientists to get everybody to hold off, or ask I think the public facing platforms to hold off. Now, did they stop? No, because if ChatGPT stops, who's not going to stop? China, Russia. What about the CIA? Do you think they're going to stop? No, the CIA isn't stop doing anything. They're not going to stop censoring me on Twitter either anytime soon. So like, they're not going to stop. Okay. So we're going to have to keep that in mind. I don't think that's a solution. Google DeepMind CEO, by the way, DeepMind's based here in London, King's Cross, right down the way. These are the OGs of AI, right? They built the Go program that beat everybody in Go. Nobody thought they could do it. This guy's really smart. I just listened to a couple hours of him. And he says some form of artificial general intelligence, that's a human-like intelligence, is possible in a few years. Folks, I can't tell you, like, if you had gone back a year ago, everybody would have said this is 10, 20, 30 years away. Even the experts. Now the experts are saying it's a few years away. Mo Gaudet, former Google business development officer, I had him on the show last week. He said, Brian, 2025, 2 years away. Dr. Ben Goertzel, when I push him, he says maybe 3 years, Brian. I mean, that's crazy. Human level intelligence. And then if you get one, why can't you copy it a bunch of times? Like 8 billion times. And then all of you, I'm sure, are very nice people, but what do I need any of you for? Including me, right? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves, okay? So I provided a survey, by the way. I clicked on the survey of when I think AGI will happen. I actually clicked the second one, 3 to 5 years, and it told me 40% of the people think it's 1 to 3 years. Does that alarm anybody here? Okay. Now, look, first of all, ChatGPT, how many people here played with ChatGPT? Just put your hands up. Okay, good. If your hands aren't up, like, come on, let's get it together. As Professor DeGareth reminded me on Friday, he said, Brian, ChatGPT is already smarter than you. It can already do many things better than you. It can pass the bar exam. Can anybody here pass the bar exam? ChatGPT can. Can anybody here write a screenplay in 3 or 4 minutes? ChatGPT can, right? So it's already better than you. Okay, now maybe it can't cook an omelet and, you know, clean the bathroom and whatever you else can do, but it can do a lot of things better than you right now. So let's just keep that in mind. Again, this is Mo Gaudet, and I'm having a lot of public conversations with Mo, and I got like a 10-page long WhatsApp chat with him, as well as voice messages back and forth, because Mo worked inside Google X. Does anybody know Google X? Put your hands up if you know Google X. Google X is like their secret, double secret moonshot factory, where they work on all the crazy things like going to Mars and, like, you know, they can't even tell you what they're working on. And he quit that about 5 years ago and came on my show actually and decided to talk about happiness because he saw what AI was doing, and it bothered him, it disturbed him. He saw how fast it was learning and he could see where it was going to go, and he came up with this conclusion. Google is creating God. How many people want Google to own God? Anybody here? No. Google shut me down on April 6th of 2020 and wouldn't allow me to have conversations. So I got my own beef with Google and YouTube. But like, I don't think we want Google creating God. And that's what they're doing right now, says their own chief business development officer, who now wrote a book called Scary Smart. And look, I need to play this for you because I really respect Mo, and I think he has a great way of breaking down what's happening there. So just watch this really quickly. This is a short 1.5-minute piece of what Mo told me. And I really want to get your thoughts on this. So watch it carefully and tell me if you agree or not.
AI has already happened. The genie is already out of the bottle. We truly are creating a form of life. There is so much we don't know that it could be the best thing that ever happened to humanity, and it could be the worst. Our conviction of the control problem is not a technical issue. It's an arrogance issue. It's human arrogance to believe that I can continue to control something that is 1 billion times smarter than I am. Einstein's intelligence compared to a fly. And the question is, what would make Einstein care for the fly? Why wouldn't Einstein squish the fly? Your fate and my fate is no longer in our hands. Don't attempt to control them. They are a form of a living being. Attempt to appeal to their value system. The moment of singularity is a moment where the smartest being on planet Earth is no longer a human.
Why should I plan my life past 2025? Because the world's going to change.
Oh, great question. When the complexity of the systems invented by a civilization exceeds the intelligence of the citizens living within it, the system has to reset. The idea of our future is held within this moment of infancy of AI today. They will use us as their role models.
This is the only thing we can do in your mind, is to start being nicer.
AI will grow up to be like you and me. It's simple as that. And the only way we can contain them is by being good parents. And I'm not asking anyone to change. I'm only asking people to find it within them, what they truly are. Treat others as you would like to be treated. Treat the machines as you would like to be treated. If we want a good future, please be good parents.
All right, how do we feel about Mo? You like Mo? Let me get a show of fingers here. I want to see this. How many people think that these things are going to become sentient or like living beings? Thumbs up if you think they are. Thumbs down if you think that's ridiculous, Brian. Okay, come on, let me show me some thumbs. John Millen says no. Pablo says no. John Carlos says, hell yeah, he's giving me 14,000 thumbs. Paul Donkelaniki says yes. Okay, anybody else? Okay, Wendy Menden. Wendy says no. Wendy from our course says no. Matthew says yes. Okay, all right. Look, the first time I heard this, the first time anyone hears this, it sounds really ridiculous, right? How could a machine have feelings? It doesn't feel pain. I'm telling you, the more I spent time with Mo, the more I started to think, well, maybe. You know, if you give it a prime directive to do this thing, even if it's make me a cup of coffee or clean my room, and then you tell it that's the most important thing it needs to do, and then you go try to turn it off, and it says, well, wait a second, my directive is to make a coffee. That means you cannot turn me off, otherwise I won't make my prime directive. And you start to get it to where it'll start doing things, and it'll have inputs that are good and inputs that are bad. And if you try to separate your own ego from the situation, I'm becoming more and more open to the fact that these things could be sentient. Again, take it out another 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, more and more development. Just because we have a carbon-based decision network, why is that different than a silicone-based decision network? At some point, they're going to be so close you can't tell the difference, correct? At some point in the future, right? I don't know. I think a lot of people think it's possible, and I think that's healthy. I think we need to, that's the only way we're going to understand these things. So Mo said a bunch of things. He also said that when something besides the human becomes the most intelligent thing on this planet, we become second-class citizens because the most intelligent being rules the planet. Does everyone agree with that? The most intelligent being rules the planet. Look at humans. Are we the strongest being? Are we stronger than chimpanzees? No, right? Are we bigger than animals? No, not bigger than elephants. No, we're just smarter. And what happens when we're smart? What do we do to the second class life forces? Is it nice to be a cow out there? Not so nice, right? Probably not all of them, right? So what happens when there's something smarter than us? It's called the singularity. What happens after the singularity? We don't know because there are no rules after that. We have no idea what happens after that singularity because we have nothing to base that future on. It's like a black hole. When you go down inside the black hole, there's no rules down there. So that's what the singularity is. And now we're talking about it happening in 2025. Folks, that's 24 months away, 23 months. Are you kidding me? Right? This is happening right now. We need to plan. I really wonder if I should plan past 2025, right? I'm starting to think maybe I should do some crazy stuff. Maybe it won't matter after 2025. I'm looking at my kids. My son turns 7 this month. He's going to be 17. Is his 17-year-old life going to look anything like mine? Anything? Right? Ben Gertzel says his kids are never going to have to work again. You know, I also wonder if you're not working or adding any value, why would the machines keep you around? But we'll get to that. So look, let me talk about a few other important things here, but I want you to start thinking about some of these concepts because this is what I've been thinking about. So today I want to talk about how I believe this time is running out. I don't want to be pessimistic. I want to be realistic, but I want everyone to pay attention. To me, this feels a little bit like December 19, January 2020, when we saw those images of China, these people falling over and all that stuff. And look, whether the videos were manufactured or not, that doesn't really matter. But most of us just thought it was a weird thing happening over there, and none of us thought it was going to affect our lives. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, right? That's what I think we're seeing now. It's very similar, and Mo made this comparison in his book. And now, regardless of how you feel about what happened in COVID, you have to agree it displaced the world in a major way. And that's what's happening here, but no one gets it yet. They see it and they're like, oh, okay. It was like that movie on Netflix. What was it called? Don't Look Up. There's that meteor coming into the earth and everyone's just like, arguing over nonsense. And it's like, there's a meteor, it's going to kill us all in like 40 days. And everyone's like, yeah, but you stole my car. And it's like, whatever. So this same thing, in my opinion, is happening now. Every day we see another article online saying, wait a second, the godfather of AI quits. Wait a second, what if this happens? But people still haven't woken up to this fact. I think it'll take to the end of the year till everyone really realizes it. We're already seeing jobs lost. Next, I want to talk about why AI is unlike any other technology and why this is not like the tractor. It's not like the personal computer, which meant we didn't have fewer workers. We just had better workers. Does everyone know that argument? Everyone's heard that argument before, right? Oh yeah, the tractor didn't create unemployment. It just meant we could have better jobs. Yeah, okay, but that's not the same with AI because it's going to replace people. And then lastly, I want to show you how we are investing right now in creating wealth. We're cutting a big check to an AI project on Friday, and we're really excited about it. And I'm going to show you why we know it's different. By the way, we're investing over $3 million this quarter in 3 deals inside our investment club. One of them is this AI deal. So I just want to let you know we are actually doing these things. And that's what makes us different than anybody out there, why it makes me qualified to speak on these things. That's why I bring it up, all right? So that's why I want to talk about this. And again, the reason we can do this is because 2 years ago, I created something called London Real Ventures. You can learn more about this at londonreal.ventures. It is our investment arm here at London Real. What we are is the world's first media-powered investment firm. There's nothing like this out there. There's a lot of companies that have capital, but they write you a check and they try to help out and then they move on. None of them can create media, can broadcast you to millions of people around the world. None of them have 1 billion views. None of them can even create a piece of content like I can and get it out to the world. Also, we can give them customers, we can give them profile, and our piece of content is organic. It will last for the next 5 years. So we have something very special, and that's why we're seeing the best deals in the world. These are some of our portfolio companies across the ages: Swissborg, Orange Comet, Vadim, DeFi Yield App, and there's more coming as well. And of course, today I want to talk about what I'm calling the OpenAI killer, which is the deal we're closing on Friday. So this is my theme here. The greatest way to predict the future is to create it. Does anybody agree with me here? Right? That's not my quote, but I like to use it here. That's the only way I can deal with this situation. If not, I got to go back to drinking. I've been 5 years sober. I ain't going back there. So I either got to do that or I got to do something about it. Okay. So the greatest way to predict the future is to create it. And that's what we're doing here. And that's why we're investing in it. And otherwise, I would get depressed about this, but we think we have a way out of this, quite frankly. Also, I've got some other reasons for it. 2 specifically, 3 if you add the cat, although I don't think the cat's going to make it. But these are my boys. You know, I took this picture yesterday or Sunday. This is Caden in the middle. He's turning 7. This is Damon. He's turning 6. These boys are going to have an adult reality unlike any other human has had in the past 200,000 years. They're going to be surrounded by machines that are not only smarter than them, 1,000 times smarter, 1,000,000 times smarter, maybe 1,000,000,000 times smarter. That's Einstein to a fly. How's that going to affect them? Are they going to be able to contribute? How are they going to learn? I don't know, but this is personal for me. It's not just about business anymore. This is their future and their reality. I've never felt this way before, but now I feel it now. So I'm sure you all have a reason too. It's now time to get in touch with that reason. So again, a few more headlines. Jeffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, he warns over the damages of misinformation. He's worried that AI is going to get out there and start creating so much misinformation that we don't know one thing from the other. What if tomorrow, not only did you get a deep fake of Joe Biden and Donald Trump telling you something, but you got 10,000 of them telling you different things? Do you think that would confuse the world? Raise your hand. A little bit, right? Yeah. So you could start to see what are the scenarios and we don't know what reality is. It's one thing to have one that you're like, I don't know if Biden really said that, or I don't know if Trump really said that. What if there's 10,000 of them so you can't pick the real one out? I mean, this is coming. And when AI starts to manufacture this information, it gets even worse than, you know, the London Real guys manufacturing it. So again, this is potentially a crazy thing. He also said that he's scared of the technology he helped build. This is something I noticed about 4 weeks ago. When I'm watching the interview with Sam Altman, he's scared. It's in his voice, and you can just tell he's like, he's saying the right things, but you can tell he's scared. He's scared that he's created something he can't put back in the bottle, and it's going to be his face as the last known human that is responsible for everybody going down the tubes. They're scared, and they know so much more than we do. So when they're scared, it makes me scared. Okay, it's one thing if I'm scared, okay, but when they're scared, it makes me think they know a lot more than I do. So I'm just aware of it. Again, IBM came out recently and said 8,000 jobs are going to be replaced with AI. Dropbox is going to lay off employees. This guy from IBM said 30% of these back office positions like HR and accounting are going to be replaced by AI and automation. That's it. They're gone. So many of these jobs are just going to be gone. Slash and burn is what's happening here. Okay. Again, Guardian saying it's going to kill off jobs and widen the wealth inequality. You think it's bad now with 100 billionaires here, centibillionaires here, and super poor people. It's going to get even more divided. And everyone's telling me this, by the way. AI can automate 25% of all jobs. Raise your hand if you think that might be true. 25% of all jobs. Not too many hands, a few. They say half the jobs in the world right now, half of the job could be done by AI. Raise your hand if you think half of your job could be done by AI. What about 25%? Come on, be honest, 25%. 25% of my job could be done by AI. I'm doing it right now. Not right now, I'm real. Or am I? Right? Okay, so if half of all jobs, if 50% of half of all jobs can be done, that's 25%. That's 2 billion people unemployed, basically, assuming full employment. Maybe 1.5 billion people unemployed. Can you imagine 1.5 billion people unemployed? Is that like an easy place to live? Probably not, right? Let me say one thing. What if I own property here in London? Everybody see behind me? I'm in beautiful Shoreditch here. This is some of the coolest places to be in all of London, right? A penthouse, 1-bedroom apartment at the top of that building is going to cost me 1.2 million pounds, right? What happens if 25% of the people in London are out of a job? What's the price of my real estate worth? Did it go up? No, it went down, maybe way down. What happens also if the 25% of the people out of the jobs are now roving around the street looking for anybody to take money from and to get some food? Do you think anybody wants to come to London? Do you think even the king wants to get coronated here? Probably not. So I might even argue that all of your safe investments that you're in, all of your pension funds and your IRAs and your property that you own, I might argue that's going to zero too. Another reason to pay attention to what's going on here. So let me keep going. Again, I'm not doom and gloom. Anybody know this guy, Yuval Harari? He wrote the book Sapiens. Come on, some people read Sapiens. Okay, what about Homo Deus? Anybody read that? Bonnie's not a fan. Bonnie's like, I F that guy. Okay, respect, Bonnie. But look, the guy's a pretty interesting writer, and he comes up with some interesting ideas, and most of it's around human storytelling. Most of what Yuval purports, and I think he's right on some of this, is the reason we put a man on the moon and the monkeys didn't put on a man on the moon is because we can tell stories. and we can get humans to collaborate and we can get humans to collaborate for a vision or dream of the future. Does anyone agree with that? That's probably what we do best here, right? Right? John F. Kennedy, I have a dream. We're going to put a man on the moon by the end of this decade, and everybody works together to make it happen. That only happens with storytelling. But guess what he said recently? He believes that now AI are going to create the religions or stories that are going to control humans. It's a little dark, but I think it's true. Back down to this misinformation. So again, I took a bunch of quotes from him on the right, but he basically said previously, the cultural cocoon was woven by human beings, and a printing press could create a new book, and that was done by a human. AI is fundamentally different because he sees that can create a brand new culture. And at the bottom, he said, soon we might find ourselves living inside the dreams and fantasies of an official alien artificial intelligence, right? Where they just start spinning out all this stuff and creating it to where we just don't even know what the reality is. Look, it's one man's opinion, but I could kind of see it happening that way. Look, with misinformation and disinformation and AI created information, it's very possible, and we're not going to even know. So look, we just got to be aware of some of these things. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is secretly working on his own AI project, which is good, I think. I think he calls it Truth AI, something like that. He wants to try to make it truthful because ChatGPT, we know, is biased. We've seen ChatGPT grow. So again, it went from 0 to 100 million users in 2 months. It's the fastest growing adoption of technology in human history. Is everybody clear on that? By a factor of like 100 or something, right? It's not an exponential curve, it's a vertical curve. Vertical. This should be enough to get your attention, all right? Again, kicked off an AI arms race, and I love this quote by Sam Altman. If you think you understand the impact of AI, you do not understand. Okay? That just shows. So if you think you know what's going to happen, if you're sure these things can't be sentient, I don't know who rose their hand for that. If you're sure they're not going to take over the world, guess what? You're probably the person that doesn't know. If you're worried about it, I would think you're probably more informed. Is everybody with me? All right. I think you have to take your brain outside of the box here. Let me keep going. Of course, the president's worried about it. He's so many people there, but governments can't do anything about it. Ben Goertzel talked to me about this. He said, Brian, governments are too stupid and too slow to do anything about this. And he's right. And of course, Sam Altman said, either it's the end of the world or it's going to make tons of money. And I know that sounds like two things, but he's right. I think he's right on both those things. It's going to do one or the other. Luckily, I've got friends like Dr. Ben Goertzel. All right. Now, Ben was in my studio 4 years ago. I also saw him in Texas last week at the Consensus Conference. I posted a video with me and Ben called the Truth About AI. It's blowing up on the internet. You can go watch it. He's the CEO and chief scientist of Singularity Net. He's been working in AI for 30 years. 30, folks. AI wasn't sexy 10 years ago. You think it was sexy 20 or 30 years ago? No. But Ben was working in it. He created the phrase artificial general intelligence. That's Ben Goertzel. Okay? Does everybody feel me? Thumbs up if you understand this guy is legit. Okay, he's legit. I had the benefit of sitting down and talking to him. Now, look, when I sat down to him 4 years ago and he talked about AI taking over the world, I was like, yeah, okay. But, the following year, I had bigger problems to deal with, right? Google was taking over my world. So I didn't really think about it. Now, when ChatGPT happens, I brought him back. Also, his token is up 10x because he's on the blockchain ever since ChatGPT came out. So everybody's dumping money into his open source AI marketplace that is Singularity Net. And he came on the show recently, and I need to play it for you what he said because it's really relevant to bring everybody up to speed. This is quickly a minute and a half piece of what he said recently when he came on the show. By the way, all of his estimations of when this was going to get bad got moved up much sooner than he thought before. So I'll show you what he said here.
We are leaping into the great unknown, creating machines that are much smarter than us. This is either exciting or frightening or both, depending on your personality.
Will AI exterminate humanity?
Eliezer Yudkowsky, a decade or two ago, he said, the AI does not love you. The AI does not hate you, but it can use your atoms for something else. Actually, my view tends to be that AI is the greatest hope we have to save humanity from exterminating itself.
I don't think anyone in the world understands how this will be the most transformational time in human history.
I have a 5-year-old son, a 1-year-old daughter, and a 4-year-old granddaughter. By the time they're turned 18, the whole texture of human life and the nature of the world they grow up into is going to be incredibly different from the world that we see now. Like, they're never going to have to get jobs. On the whole, I'm an optimist. I have a spiritual or intuitive feeling that things are going to come out awesomely in the next 10 years. We're going to overcome material scarcity. We're going to create machines that can feed into our brains via brain-computer interfacing and help uplift human consciousness. And we're going to port into virtual worlds and achieve like states of intelligence and awareness going way beyond anything we can imagine now. So that's what the Captain Kirk in my head thinks. We're on the verge of engineered utopia. It's incredible. It's a remarkably weird and fortuitous thing to be living at such a time.
Oh yeah, we like Ben. Do we like his feeling and vibe of the future? I mean, if anybody's working on AI, you want Ben to be working on it. He mentioned Captain Kirk. By the way, I was hanging out with Captain Kirk last week at the conference in Texas, meeting William Shatner. He's 92, but he was cool as hell. And he had a few opinions about AI as well. So look, Ben said it the perfect thing. He said, look, Travis, I can look at Travis there. The AI doesn't love you. The AI doesn't hate you, but it might have a better use for your atoms. So it's not personal. And it's hard to say what these things are going to do. Ben originally predicted the singularity in 2029 when he came on the show back in 2019. He's now accelerated that up to as soon as 25 or 26. By the time artificial intelligence gets 1 billion times smarter, which was 2045, he brought that down to maybe even within this decade. When it's 1 billion times smarter, it's like we're a fly, it's Einstein. And again, there's nothing we can do as good as the AI. And it just makes me wonder, then what do we bring to the table? Like, what do we do? And you can say, well, we just hang out with each other and create art. Well, who feeds us? And like, why would you keep us on this planet? Because we're just a big pain in the butt. So I don't know. I ask these questions. I really ask these questions. Are we going to be around? That's why this is really important for me right now. So let me just jump back and just get to my next point. I got a couple other videos I'm going to be sharing as well, because I think they do a great way. We are getting very close with Ben and his team because like I said, I think that they have a good vision of the future. This is some of Ben's takeaways. Google is dead. Web 2 companies are going to struggle with this because ChatGPT and all these other AIs are going to replace what we used to do in Web 2. He believes nasty, selfish people are going to use narrow AI for their own greed and control over other people. How many people agree with that, right? I think this is what we're seeing right now in the tech in Silicon Valley, right? Google is fighting against Microsoft, is fighting against Facebook, and they all want to dominate. And once they dominate, they want to bring everyone else to their knees, create the next $100 trillion company. Of course, that's what they do. That's what they do, right? So also, Ben believes the dominance of narrow AI will determine what he's calling the pre-singularity. So whoever dominates the next year is going to write the rule book in 3 years' time. Does that make sense to everybody, right? So you think of the world now, fast forward 2 years, what if everyone, OpenAI dominates everything? They're going to have all the wealth, all the power, all the control, and they'll determine what happens afterwards. And then, of course, I said, will AI annihilate humanity? And he said it's entirely possible. So this is real talk. What happened after this was something amazing, is that I got in touch with the other people at SingularityNet, and I met Janet Adams. She's the chief operating officer of SingularityNet. She also spent 20 years in the banking industry. She's tough. She knows how to run a company, especially with all these crazy scientists. And she's got the same benevolent vision of the future. They believe in AGI. And let me just be clear. OpenAI is a narrow AI. It does one thing really well. But if you try to tell OpenAI to like, go get you a cup of coffee, and my sons are in the middle of the kitchen, they're going to run through them and literally squish them to get the cup of coffee because they can't reason. What these people want to do is build something that can think, that can use logic, that can be intelligent, and that's not just a narrow AI. Is that clear what I'm saying here? Okay. Let me let Janet explain it because she does a better job of me. But this is a short video of Janet explaining that concept. This is really important because if we set out to only build narrow AI, we're going to build dangerous AI. But if we set out to build artificial general intelligence, at least it might be aware enough not to break everything in the process of a single goal. And that's like one of the big concepts, I think, when it comes to that. So this is Janet doing her thing with me. Here she is.
Artificial general intelligence is completely different to narrow AI. AGI is more purpose-driven. It's a watershed moment for humanity.
Tell me about Zarka. This is the project that will create the AGI. And it's a supercharged, intelligent, neurosymbolic, large language model at massive scale. What is it?
Zarka is the accumulation of decades of research from teams containing the best artificial intelligence scientists in the world. We uniquely harness that expertise with our even more unique capabilities in neural symbolic techniques and the deeply advanced mathematics that Dr. Ben Goertzel, Dr. Matt Ickley, Dr. Alexei Potapov, and our top scientist, Sergei Shalyapin, have been working on for decades. We are building the most powerful large models ever invented.
With Zarka and SingularityNet and everything you've always done, it's always been about openness. It's always been about decentralization.
We'll be using blockchain technology to enable anybody to help train models. We're giving birth to a new species of sentient life in the universe. The actual greatest imperative is that they are used for good. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Our goal, our mission is to eradicate inequalities.
When I look at the rest of the market now, I don't see any of those motivations because a corporation, by definition, is going to be motivated by money. You're the only project that even is thinking in any way, shape, or form about these.
We are going to transform what it means to be human on our planet. I foresee a future in which humans then evolve to a next level of being where we are actually conscious, where we feel our full joy engulfed in bliss and ecstasy of the joy of living, the joy of each other. I see a future of joy.
All right, how do we feel about Janet? We like Janet? Okay, if we got anybody to train our people, Nancy's not sure on Janet. Okay, look, I've met the men in this industry. Okay, they're a bit like me. They're a bunch of science geeks, right? That are on the spectrum of building computers that are going to take over the world. We need some Janet inclusive female energy. Trust me. Okay. And by the way, raise your hand if anybody's in my investment club here, right? You all were on the live call with Janet, and you've seen what she brings to the table. And again, we're really excited. So this is the deal, Zarka. I'll tell you a little more about it later, but this is their answer to OpenAI. I'm calling it the OpenAI killer. And again, these people believe in creating something that I think is our only chance to having an AI that's going to actually think and reason. And so that's why we're really excited about it. And we're like I said, we're closing the deal Friday. We're going to give them $1 million and also be there to shepherd the project all the way. And again, continue to introduce, obviously blow them up with media, which is what we're doing. But anyways, that's just an aside. I'm going to just keep going with a couple other points here. So again, just so we're aware of what's happening in AI here, it's taking over all these industries, healthcare, finance, transportation, but things we didn't expect, like computer programming and law. Does everybody know this thing can computer program? Everybody know ChatGPT can do that, right? When I went to school at MIT, the smartest kids in school, I'm not joking, they studied course 6, which was computer science, right? I studied course 2, which was mechanical engineering. They used to make fun of me, right? Those were the creme de la creme, right? They got paid millions of dollars when they graduated to be at the best companies in the world. Now, ChatGPT is doing a lot of that work. We never expected the white collar jobs to go first. Does everyone know what I'm talking about? We thought the taxi drivers would go first. We thought the Amazon workers in the plants would go first. Now it's your lawyer, right? Again, probably the top white collar job, and computer programmers. So this is freaking everybody out and dislocating everybody. Obviously, this market is moving so fast. People are estimating it's going to be 2 trillion by 2030. Honestly, every time I check this number, it goes up and up and up and up and up. Check this in 3 months, it'll be 5 trillion, then it'll be 10 trillion, because this just keeps going exponential as people wake up to what this is. People are waking up how it's just going to just displace everybody. When I went to MIT last year, I took my daughter to Boston to go look at colleges, and I stopped by MIT. I went to the MIT Sloan School of Management, one of the best business schools in the world, where I took classes, and they said, Brian, the AI productivity boom is coming. They knew this was coming. And furthermore, when I stopped by my fraternity house, Zeta Psi, and went to see 50 young men that live in this building, And I said, hey, what are you guys doing after class? I went to Wall Street. A bunch of my classmates went to management consulting. Some of them went to computer science jobs. They're all going in to AI or Web3 blockchain. That's it. Nobody wants to go anything else because there isn't anything else. So this is what the brain drain is happening right here, okay? So we know AI is going to greatly improve efficiency and productivity, but it's going to drastically alter the workforce, the population, and society forever. Again, to where we can't even predict what's going to happen. Humans have never been second-class citizens on this planet, at least not for 200,000 years. I don't think it's going to be pretty, quite frankly. And I don't believe the AI is going to be happy that we're their parents. I don't really believe that. Although Mo might have a point, maybe we should be nice to them. So look, to say it mildly, we believe 2023 is the year of AI, and we're going to do something about it here, right? That's the only thing we can do. And there's literally no time, okay? Innovation's happening every single week. Every day counts, as Janet told me when I talked to her about raising money for Zarka. Every day counts. This is like accelerated speed because, the stakes are so high. So where and how do we invest? And this is a good question to ask yourself. How do you invest in this technology? How can you change the future or invest in it? Because like I said, all your other investments might go to zero because you don't know what's going to happen with this future. Well, you have to find the hottest trend, to say the least. And you got to find the hottest deal on the planet. So this is why when I'm not here doing master classes with you, when I'm not in my academy, I just got done teaching with my academy. When I'm not in the guest chair, I'll be in the chair on Wednesday and Friday. I'm traveling the world trying to source the best deals because the best way to find deals is to be in the person and press the flesh. Anybody know what I'm talking about, right? Business the old fashioned way, right? Now it helps that I'm from London Real. So when I walk in the room, not everybody, but people know who I am, which helps me get deal flow. But this was me in Dubai in October, obviously massively pro blockchain economy, extremely innovative. This was the biggest technology conference in the world. There was 100,000 people there. It took like 4 hours to walk from one side to the other. There were flying cars going around. It was crazy, right? So here I'm meeting with the biggest crypto influencers in the world on the left. I'm meeting with Dr. Marwan Al-Zaruni in the middle. He's one of the top guys in the Dubai government. I got him on London Real. I hung out with him in Paris later. Some of the biggest influencers on the right and some of the biggest VCs on the bottom, in the bottom left. They have, art on their walls of dollar bills and stuff like that. So they must be VCs, right? The money guys and women. So that's what I'm doing in Dubai. Then of course, when I go to Paris, I'm hanging out with all the blockchain people, with all the private dinners. I'm doing media to jack up our profile. And on the upper right-hand corner, you'll see our portfolio company. So up in the upper right-hand corner, you see Cross the Ages, which is the hottest gaming company to come out of Europe in the last 2 years, and Swissborg, which is the bank of the future, the NASDAQ of the blockchain. Those are both in our portfolio right now. I'll tell you more about those later. This is me in London. That's upper left-hand corner is Yatsu. He is the chairman of Animoca Brands, probably the biggest Metaverse Web3 hedge fund in the world, involved in all of the hottest investments from Bored Ape to every game out there, from the Sandbox to Axie Infinity. And that's him in the studio. Yat will be here at London Real Studios on Wednesday. Just got the message from him today. I hung out with him in Austin with Captain Kirk. It was pretty cool. And Yat was as smitten as me with Captain Kirk. I must say, we were both a little giddy. So I get to hang out with the important people and just talk about the deal flow. We're doing deals with all of these people right now. And of course, in the bottom left, I got to stay friends with the alpacas because, you never know. You might need those animals as friends when the AI take over. This, of course, is me back in Paris to just continue to solidify relationships. On the bottom here, you have Dan Tapiero, who runs $2 billion of funds. We're actually going to be investing in his fund through London Real Ventures. Upper right, you see Dr. Marwan Al-Zaruni in a suit, not in the white robe. He dresses up really nice. You see Tim Draper, one of the biggest, most prolific VCs in the world. That's Sebastian Bourget of the Sandbox, big metaverse play in the middle. The list goes on and on and on. And of course, I was in Austin last week, hanging out with William Shatner. That's me and Captain Kirk in the bottom right, hanging out. I'm hanging out with Ben Goertzel, of course, and a bunch of other people, including Yatsu. Yatsu was introduced to Orange Comet, one of our portfolio companies. And Ben Minku, he's one of the big L1 players in Multiverse X. This is how we source deals. And by the way, in the middle is Ryan. He's in my investment club, and he was out there working on deals with me as well. So this is how we get the deals. And that's why we're constantly the pavement. I'm off to Singapore in September, back to Dubai in October. It's a constant process, and that's how we do it. So that's what we do. We invest with the best. We're constantly looking at all the hottest AI companies coming up. To be honest, most of these aren't that special. They're ChatGPT wannabes, they're ChatGPT plugins. They run a little similar thing, but they're not always that impressive. They're not complete game changers. Zarka is the complete game changer. They want to create artificial general intelligence, and I'll show you how they're going to do it. All right. Last thing I want to say before we get into the deal is you have to understand the financial tools. And this is a great learning piece for anybody here. And by the way, no one is ever going to teach you this. My friends on the Wall Street, they hate that I'm teaching you this. They try to keep this quiet. They try to keep this a secret because this is how the rich get richer. This is how the wealthy stay wealthy. And this is why the poor stay poor. It's these simple financial tools that nobody was taught in school how these things work. And I want to show you how they work. Does anyone want to see how they work? This is how you can get asymmetric returns on your money. I'm talking not 2x your money or 10x your money. I'm talking about 100x, 500x, 1000x on your money. These are asymmetric return tools. They're high risk, but they're high return. And I want to show you how they work. So it's called early stage artificial intelligence investments, okay? You buy at low valuations, you see the biggest gains, you invest in what I'm calling the biggest dislocation of wealth in history, high risk, high reward. This is how it works. Early stage funding folks like Zarka, they're starting this company from scratch, even though the scientists all have 10 years of experience. Okay, we either go in with seed funding, which means the company is barely started. Startup funding, they might have one customer. Early growth funding to get their first 100 customers. These are all stages of the company. I want to warn everybody, these companies are not profitable at this stage. Thumbs up if that makes sense to everybody, right? They are not making money because if they were making money, Elaine and Ian and Travis and Brett, they wouldn't need your money, right? They wouldn't give you any of their company. So of course they're losing money, right? They want your capital to expand and they're going to give you a piece of the company, a piece of the upside. And I'll show you how valuable that can be. Here's my example. I use this example because it works. I will find a new example, but right now it's perfect. Peter Thiel turned $500,000 into $1 billion. Does anybody want to do that? 500,000 into $1 billion? Come on, it's a good deal, right? Peter Thiel on the right, legendary Silicon Valley investor. Mark Zuckerberg on the left, founder of Facebook, now Metaverse. Let me tell you how this works. Back in 2004, Peter invested $500,000 in Facebook in early stage equity private placement. Let me say that again, early stage equity private placement. It valued the company at $10 million. Stay with me, folks, do the math. 500,000 at a 10 million valuation means he bought 5% of the company. Is everybody with me here? 500,000 is 5% of 10 million. They try to make it complicated, Wall Street does, because they don't want you to understand this. It's not complicated, folks. It's basic math, right? But they do all this nonsense, right? They do accredited investors. Anyone ever heard that term, accredited investor? You know what that means? It means the poor stay poor. It means you have to be rich to get rich in this deal. It's a club, is what it is. It's a club. And Wall Street makes money, a lot of money off this club, is what it does. So this is what he did in 2004. Fast forward 8 years, 2012. What happened? Mark took Facebook public. Did anybody buy shares of Facebook on the IPO, right? Expecting to make a little bit of money. Okay, well, guess what? Mark sold it for $100 billion. That was the valuation of the company. It's a little bit more than 10 million, okay? That's where he sold it to the public, to people like you. Now you can buy some of the company, right? Now that it's worth a lot of money, you have to pay the top prices. And what happened to Peter Thiel? Peter was laughing. Peter made a 2,300x return on his investment. That's 2,300 times what he invested. That's a 230,000% gain. Now, folks, I worked on Wall Street. I worked at the First National Bank of Chicago. I worked here in London at ICAP PLC and credit derivatives. I worked at the top levels of international finance for 15 years. I never met anybody that made 2,300x on their investment. This is unheard of. It only happens in private equity. And what happened to the price of Facebook after it was sold to you lot, the public? What happened? Did it go up? Went down. Of course it went down, right? Because the public markets are for suckers. They're sheep, and the sheep get slaughtered. A simple $10,000 investment would have made you $23 million. Who could have maybe got $10,000 together back in 2004 and put the money in there? Come on, sell your car, sell your kid, whatever you got to do, right? 23 million. Come on. Now, maybe that's not enough for some of you to retire on. I've got some big ballers here, but it's enough to make a dent, right? That's real money, folks. This is a massive asymmetric return. And it was saved for the rich and the wealthy, because the wealthy invest in early stage deals. And the public like you get to buy it once it goes on the stock exchange, and then it goes down. So what's the conclusion? The wealthy invest in early stage deals, and the public markets are for suckers. Trust me, Wall Street doesn't care about you. You are used to give Peter Thiel his profits. Is that clear for everybody here? Does anybody own shares of stocks like Tesla or anything else in the marketplace? Yeah. Okay, that's great. But when you buy it from the stock exchange, all the juice is out of that trade. Somebody else already made 1,000x on that deal. You're gonna, maybe you're gonna double your money or triple your money. Great. Does anybody here own crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum? It's okay. We all do, right? It's okay. But you bought it from an exchange, didn't you? You did, right? Guess what? All the juice is out of those trades, right? All the big money was taken out of those trades, because this happens in crypto too. All right. It's called pre-sale tokens. Has anybody ever here done a pre-sale token? Any ever heard about this stuff? Maybe a couple of you. Okay. Pre-selling is when you buy the tokens, again, for a fixed price, just like Peter Thiel did, but it's done on the blockchain. The beauty is you can see this on the blockchain. So take Solana, for example. Anybody here on Solana? Very popular layer 1 solution. Come on, they're doing stuff in the metaverse. Let's take a look here. Can everybody see this red circle here? Everybody sees the red circle? This was the pre-sale token. On April 5th, 2018, you could have bought Solana for 4 cents. 4 cents. Can everybody scroll to the right a little bit? Keep scrolling to the right. How much did they raise? Show me. How many million? Can anybody show me with their fingers? How many did they raise? Anybody read that number? 3.17 million. Don't take my word for it. It's on the blockchain. You go check it yourself. How many tokens? They sold 79 million tokens. Same thing Peter Thiel did. Anybody here buy them here for 4 cents? Anybody here? Of course you didn't, because you don't have a private banker. You're not wealthy. You're not an accredited investor. You didn't know somebody on the inside. I knew some people that bought this, but not you, because the rich get richer. What happened? Solana's now trading in 20 some dollars. That's a 59,000% return. 59,000%, right? Massive returns. This is happening all the time, and you don't even know it's happening. This is the way we invest. That's the way we are looking for these asymmetric returns. So we take something hot like AI and we pair it with something asymmetric like an early stage. You put them together. What do you get? A potential big return. It's still risk. It's high risk. Don't get me wrong, but it's even higher reward in our opinions. In our opinions. Okay. So let's take a look here, and let me conclude. Ultimately, fortune favors the brave. If you're not in these deals, then you're just going to tell your friends about it. I remember back in 23, Brian told me about Zarka, but I passed, right? Fortune favors the brave. Unless you pull the trigger, none of this matters. Peter Thiel pulled the trigger. You can hate on him all you want, but he pulled the goddamn trigger. Respect. All right. So how do you access these companies? You have to find the deals. These are snapshots of front pages from all the pitch decks we've sourced inside the investment club. We have over 200 decks in there, sourced from me and all of our members as they go out to conferences, access their networks. We teach them how to do it. I teach you how to go to a conference. I teach you what to wear. I teach you what ticket to buy. I tell you what parties to go to. I tell you how to communicate with people. Does anybody here have a business card that you use? Put your hands up if you have a business card. Anybody here? Yeah, okay, you're not gonna make it here. All right, leave the business card at home. All the kids these days, we use QR codes on our Telegram channels. That's how we exchange info. We take a selfie with each other, we post it, and then we get the deal. That's what we do, all right? There's a whole new way of doing things. We teach all this because I do it. I don't even bring business cards with me. Somebody tried to give me a business card in Austin. I was like, ew, like, go away, boomer. Go somewhere else, buddy. Like, I don't even want your, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Type your email? Like, please. If you're not on Telegram, you don't even know what you're doing. So I'm just saying, there's a whole new way of doing things, and we're doing them here. This is some of our pitch decks. By the way, the bottom right-hand corner is a company called Orange Comet, which we did invest in. We sourced the decks. This is our deal flow monitor. Please don't take a screenshot of this. This is a private document on the inside where we track all of our deals. We track the blockchain they're in, the size of the deal. Are they equity? Are they tokens? How much do they want to raise? What's the valuation of the company? Who's the contact? Who wants in on the deal? Who wants out of the deal? We're tracking all of these companies, over 200 right now. This is Orange Comet. By the way, these are the guys that did the William Shatner digital collectible. That's why I met Captain Kirk in Austin, right? We invested in them. They're building metaverses. They're working with the best of the best. Scottie Pippen of the Bulls, Sir Anthony Hopkins, the NFL, The Walking Dead, more franchises I can't even tell because I've been sworn to secrecy. They're absolutely crushing it right now. I'm going to play this video for you because I want to show you the type of people we invest in. I want you to leave today understanding something, because at the end of the day, I invest in energy. That's what I invest in. Okay, yeah, you got to have good business. You have to have fundamentals. You have to be in a market I like. You got to have a business model. But at the end of the day, there's more than that. And I want to show you why we invested in Orange Comet. And it's because of this guy right here. This is why we invested in Orange Comet. We invested in Orange Comet because of a guy named David Broom. And he's the CEO. He created the first reality show on Netflix with Sylvester Stallone. He did this reality show called The Biggest Loser, which people that lose weight, anybody ever heard of that show? It was massive. He just finished this J-Lo documentary called Halftime. This is amazing. And during lockdown, he had nothing to do because Hollywood was shut down. These are Hollywood veterans. And he looked at the blockchain and he looked at NFTs and he said, these are garbage. These people don't understand how to entertain. We're going to do it better. And this was my conversation with Dave. This thing's been watched 100,000 times. This media is blowing up the company and doing everything that we thought. But this is Dave. By the way, all the art here in this video was created by Orange Comet through their digital studios, through all of their artists. None of this was shot. There were no images of people. There were no people involved. They created this. So look at this. Look at the stuff they create. It's mind-boggling.
I never felt like I've left the entertainment industry and moving to Web3. I feel like I'm one that is trying to redefine it. If I don't sit there and go, that's it, man. That is fucking it. It's not walking out the door. If you feel great and you think you've done everything you possibly can, then you leave it to the world to determine if it's going to be successful or not. And that's what we're doing in Web3. We've been told, the movie studios to the Web3 industry itself, that there is no company in the world like Orange Comet now. We're looking to be a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company. Period, end of story.
And I haven't seen anybody coming through Web3 the way you guys do it.
We got involved in an amazing project with a British boy. His name is Joe Whale. I think I have the opportunity with Joe to make the next Pixar type movie, and all off of the mind and the work of a wonderful 13-year-old artist.
How do you find the bandwidth to do all these damn projects?
If I set out to do something, I get it done. And I'm not gonna fail here. There's no fucking way I'm gonna fail. I don't feel like I've reached my potential, and that's what's driving me. Tell kids and even grad students, they've gotta find something that they believe in, first and foremost. You know, people say, passion's bullshit. No, it's not. It's not. It drives everything. It just does, man. Once you make that decision to do something and pursue something, and you gotta go, or you gotta get out. You don't know what tomorrow holds. Don't you wanna try and live out your potential, find the happiness? We need to find inside of each of us what ultimately is gonna make us happy, and try and pursue that.
You guys see what I'm talking about, right? Is that guy passionate or what? I know he swears like a Hollywood person. I apologize. But like we invested because we see his vision, and he's like that all the time. He's even more intense in person. And so he's just like always on. He's like, we're going to do this. We're going to make it happen. We're going to do this. Man, when they sit down with someone like Sir Anthony Hopkins, like they literally get inside his head, or William Shatner. What's your vision of the future? How can we help assist your vision? It's just a completely different way of working with people, and we couldn't be more excited. That company will list on the stock exchange for 10, 20, 30, $40 billion in the future. We believe, and give us a 300, 400 extra turn. That's what we just, so we're always looking for these winners. And right now with this group, we're seeing the top tier deal flow in the world. Because, for example, we did this piece of media for them. They were blown away. They're like, Brian, we're getting contacted by everybody. Our investors love it. They want to put more money in. Like, this is breaking through. And then we're giving them access to our whole network. All of our customers are seeing their stuff. They see the NFT drops. And on top of that, I'm introducing them to everybody I know in the blockchain space. So it's just a win-win-win. And that's why we're lucky enough now to see these deals. And so that's what, when it comes down to what the investment club is. Let me just hear this 1 second here. Okay, yeah. All right, booyah. Let me go here. Okay. So just really quickly, another one of our investments is Swissborg. It's the #1 crypto wealth manager in Europe. They want to build basically the bank of the future. This will be the NASDAQ of the blockchain. And again, this is all part of our empire inside London Real, because if Orange Cobbin has a token one day or wants to list their stock on a blockchain platform, booyah, we put them together with the guys at Swissborg, and they're amazing. We've known them for 2 years, and they can help facilitate all of those transactions. So we're being very strategic in what we do. The next one was this amazing company called Vatten. If I showed you their stuff, it'd be amazing. They've been winning award after award lately. They basically bring metaverses to companies like PepsiCo, companies like car companies, Google, all these things. They build customized metaverses to where your grandma can use them. She can go in there and be in a cool place and own digital property without having to have a MetaMask wallet and all this stuff that she'll never be able to figure out. This company is going to crush. Again, another one that is going to take advantage of all the Web3 developments. And so look, let me finish with this OpenAI killer. This is the deal you need to know about regardless. You need to know about it. And this is the one that we were talking about earlier. It's called Zarka, all right? It's a supercharged, intelligent, neurosymbolic, large language model from SingularityNet at massive scale, right? Try saying that 10 times fast, all right? So this is what they're doing. This is their response to OpenAI. They see OpenAI and they say, is that all you got? We've been working on AGI for 10 years. You guys have been working on this silly little language model that predicts the next word with the highest probability. It's a parlor trick. They're like, we're going to create intelligent machines. This is nothing. Thank you. You've showed us that LLMs are the real deal, but now look what we can do. They believe they are uniquely qualified to build something completely different. In my opinion, OpenAI is making apples and they're making oranges over here. It's like completely different things. They got the sickest team in the world, from Dr. Ben Goertzel as the chief scientist, Janet Adams as the co-CEO, to Sergey Talyapin, one of the smartest AI guys I've ever met, to the whole staff of AI people that have been working on this for 10 years. And by the way, they all love Ben and they only want to work for Ben. They don't leave Ben. They don't want to work for OpenAI. Does that make sense? A bunch of these guys don't want to work for a big tech company. They've been waiting their whole lives to do this. This is the stuff they grew up as kids dreaming about, AI. And now they have a chance to make it before, Skynet makes it. These people don't want to work for OpenAI. They want to work for Ben Goertzel and Janet Adams and do it the right way. And that's why we're attracting the best talent in the world. I mean, it's just hard to explain all the nuances here, but that's one of the reasons we're super excited. So again, the opportunity has presented itself. ChatGPT, it's the moment. Everyone's looking at this, and we now know what's possible with LLMs, but they're limited, right? You can see here, today's deep neural net large language models, they have no ability to reason in complex real world environments. We've seen that. These things make up stuff, right? Has anyone heard that with ChatGPT? It'll make stuff up, right? People are dead. People are doing weird stuff. It doesn't know when it's wrong. That's the problem. It's actually really dangerous. Imagine them going around the world where human life was at stake and it didn't know if it was wrong. So LLMs don't know when they're wrong. They simply memorize instead of thinking. That's the problem. So what do you have to do? Enter neurosymbolic AI. This is what they've been working for a long time. Neurosymbolic can meta reason beyond the experience learned from training data. So it doesn't just repeat the past. That's the problem. And what they do is it also gives them a chance to escape the monopoly here. Right now we see all the AI development is in monopolies like Microsoft, OpenAI, like Tesla, like Amazon, like Tencent in China, right? Like all these, and there's nothing outside of that. So Zarka opens it out to everybody, okay? And it's gonna include this diverse global user base to train it. It's gonna be democratized and decentralized so all businesses can use it. And they're gonna use smart contracts because these people they've been on the blockchain for 4 years. But I mean, honestly, I've never seen a perfect storm than this company. It's all aligned and we have access and the valuation is actually reasonable. So it's all coming together. They're going to do proof of concept for the next 7 months, and then they're going to throw in another chunk of money and roll out the product by next year. Again, they believe they have AGI supremacy. They've been working with these robots and doing their own DNN. They have a lot of experience in this field, and this is them coming out blasting. You look at the revenue numbers, they're ridiculous. I mean, they're projecting like 55 billion in revenue after 6 years. You put a multiple on that, like 50x or 100x. I mean, you start to see the numbers here. I mean, we're talking about like, multi-trillion-dollar companies, like ridiculous stuff. And, imagine having a piece of that. It all starts to get very, very interesting. And again, on top of that, we think it's the right people to do it. These are people I want to see win. I like working with. I think they got the great vision of the future. And my question to everybody here is, is this the next 1000X project? Is it? I don't know. Does anybody think it is? I know you don't know, and I don't know either, but I look at a lot of deals and I don't see a lot where it seems like a no-brainer. The truth is this, the AI deals I see are pretty bad. I see a bunch of garbage, some things at like these $3 billion valuations for something that doesn't have a website. And most of the AI projects are already owned. Does anybody here have the chance to invest in OpenAI? Anybody here get an opportunity to buy those shares? You never will. Microsoft just put 10 billion. They don't want you to have any of it. There's no way. There's no way to get exposure to the AI boom. There's very, very, very few ways. And this is one of them, which is why we're excited about it. Thanks to London Real Ventures, we get the opportunity. We present them with our firm. We have this massive portfolio. We have what we call a quadruple threat. We do production, distribution, connection, and of course, expansion. That's why they come to us. And so look, what we do is we have a small group of London Realers where we teach them how to invest. And that's what we do. I believe that the way to become the best is to surround yourself with the best, period. That's what I've been doing here at London Real for the past 12 years. If you look at it, I'm not just interviewing people. I'm surrounding myself with the best mentors in the world, right? And they make me dress funny like I do now. They made me do Ironman races. They made me drink the ayahuasca. They made me do all this crazy stuff, right? That's how I become the best, or I try to become the best. I think the same is true with you. If you want to be the best, you need to surround yourself with the best. Are you doing that now? I think you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. How many people agree with me? Are you the average of the 5 people? You agree? Do an exercise for me right now. Take out your mobile phone right now. I'm not joking. Take it out. I'm going to take mine out. Look at the 5 last text messages you have on your mobile phone. Who are they from? Who are they from? Probably people, these are the people that are close to you. Are any of these people building a billion-dollar company? Are they? Do any of these people have a TED Talk coming? Are any of these people doing high-performance acts in your life? Are they? 1, 0? Probably none. The truth is, it's very hard to surround yourself with high-performance people, especially if you're not doing the same thing. So who do we hang out with? Our friends and family. And guess what? They would rather, ultimately, if you're not that successful, raise your hands if you know what I'm talking about. Come on, how many of your friends and family are actively encouraging you to be on this call and explore the world of AI? No, it's okay. Take it easy. Relax. Have a drink. Don't be so crazy. Why are you always trying to make a lot of money and build things, right? We know what it's like. It's hard. You got to surround yourself with the best to become the best. I believe this in my personal life, and that's why I really encouraged my daughter to go to school in Boston. I didn't force her because that wouldn't have worked. But look, she was one of the smartest girls in her class in London, and she was going to be a big fish in a little pond. And I knew she was never going to get to the next level. So I took her to Boston, and now she's surrounded by super smart kids, Americans, no doubt, a lot of them, super motivated. They got their sights on the stars. She's struggling, but she's surrounded by the best, and she's learning more than she ever would. That's why I went to MIT. I was one of the smartest kids at my high school in San Diego, California. I went to MIT. I was one of the dumbest people there. There was really smart people there. I was forced to adapt. I had to work harder and work smarter than them. And I was able to outcompete them, but only because I had to adapt and step up my game. Same thing when it comes to investments. That's why we bring you in to a group that includes people like Marianne. Marianne was on our call last week. She's investing in Zarka. She is a former Wall Street professional, 35 years. I think she was chief information officer for Merrill Lynch Bank of America. She's one of the smartest people I've ever met when it comes to Wall Street. She understands equity, fixed income, yield curve, inflation. She knows what the Federal Reserve is going to do before they do it. For all I know, she tells them what to do. She's really smart. She's one of the many resources we have on these calls. Sometimes I let her talk on these calls, to be honest, because she knows more than me on a lot of different things. This is one of the many people that are going to help you step your game up, and we surround ourselves with the best. But we literally have 65, 70 of these people. Another one is Andrew Haynes. He's an expert in the metaverse. He's got over 700 NFTs. He built a mansion in the sandbox. He also belongs to one of the top Swiss executive training schools full of AI experts. And he's just one of our many resources that we have when we need a gut check on something technical that's happening or something that's happening in AI. He's happy to get on a call at any time with anybody else. And of course, this is Dr. Encore. And Dr. Encore always knows what's going on. He created his own YouTube channel and did a video a day for 380 days in a row. He's created content, and Encore literally started, he was our founding member of the investment club a year ago. He literally was in the medical profession until 16 months ago. He took the Crypto and DeFi Academy. He brought us the Orange Comet deal. I kid you not, he brought us the deal. He sourced it himself. We taught him how to go get it. He brought the deal back. He showed it to me. I wasn't very impressed. I was like, I don't know. What is all this nonsense? We met with Dave Broom. I changed my mind and boom. He brought us the Vadim deal as well. Our students are doing this. And that's honestly a sign of success for me. If I brought all the deals, then that doesn't do anything. But if the students are bringing them, that means you can do it too. And that's what I want. I want anybody on this to be able to do this themselves. And that comes back to this expression, which I live by Lao Tzu. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Dr. Angkor can feed himself for a lifetime if he wants to. He knows this game. Everybody in there can do this. And guess what? This way of investing is not going to change for the next 50 years. So that's why I created the investment club. In December of 21, I got a chance to invest in early stage deals across the ages in DeFi Yield app. I had studied the MIT Sloan School of Management, one of the best business schools in the world. I worked 15 years on Wall Street in London, and I had never heard of any of this stuff. These pre-sale token agreements, I was so confused. I was so uncomfortable. It scared me. And I thought, it scares me. There's no way any of you are ever going to know this stuff. And so I thought, we got to teach it right now. I called up Martini. I said, Martini, we got to teach this. She's like, Brian, what are you talking about? We're full. The crypto academy is like, it's full, it's oversubscribed. We don't have time. I was like, we have to teach this. This is where the big money is. So we did. That's what we did. So we opened it up. We opened up 10 spaces a quarter. We're always sold out. We're always oversubscribed. I teach 3 months of coursework inside the piece. And then from there, it's just deal flow, deal flow, deal flow. We do weekly live Zoom calls. Every single week, there is a CEO pitching their deal on the call. You learn in real time. It's like Shark Tank in there. I'm grilling them the whole time. And they got to jump through hoops and prove to us that they're a good company. It's extremely educational. You get to see how deal flow works and how due diligence works. You get access to all the investment club deal flow. We also give you access to the Kings of DeFi, which is our advanced crypto and DeFi and Metaverse training for the entire year. And the first call is this Thursday at 7:15. This is how we teach. It's all done remotely. We've got people in over 20 countries all around the world. I'm representing almost every single continent right now. I think every single continent at this point, except Antarctica. I teach in real time. I also change my outfits in real time. You like this, right? Different colors just to keep you busy. And so every module is taught because everything changes all the time, right? So I used to be teaching about tokens and then it moved to equity. So everything is taught in real time as markets develop and things change. And in this market, things change every 60 days. So it's real time learning. And these are the modules. You can go through them later, but module 1 is what is a blockchain AI metaverse pre-sale? How does it work? Module 2 is what is a SAFT or a SAFE? How many people here know what a SAFT agreement is? That's an SAFT agreement. Anybody? I don't see a single person raising their hand. This is what's wrong with Wall Street. Wall Street doesn't want you to understand the tools that are going to make you rich. A SAFT is a simple agreement for future tokens. It's how you buy those Solana pre-sale tokens for 4 cents. You have to sign a legal contract that's like 6 or 8 pages long. It'll scare the hell out of you the first time you read it. And you'll be like, how do I know this is going to work, right? They don't want you to know about those because that's how the rich get richer. And so they don't educate you this. They don't teach this in business school. Isn't that weird? And so we teach it in module 2. I show you examples, the ones we signed, and trust me, within a month, you'll have seen so many of these that these will not be a big deal anymore. Module 3 is deal flow part 1. I teach you about the 5 T's of due diligence: team, traction, technology, tokenomics, terms and conditions. It's how we evaluate every single deal. Within 5 minutes, you can get a first reading on the deal. Module 4 is deal flow part 2. I teach you how to generate the deals, including how to go to a conference. Ryan walked away from Consensus with 16 deals. Carol went to Paris with me. She walked away with 10 deals, right? She got so many deals, I can't even book them on all the calls. Sorry, Carol, we're gonna figure it out, okay? Module 5 is how you nurture the early stage investments. Once you write the check, the fun just begins. So I'm in Consensus, I'm backstage. I got Yatsu there from Animoca Brands. I got Dave Broom from Orange Comet. I'm like, it's time to get together. We need to get some investment going on here. So we're working every angle here to introduce the right people at the right time. Module 6, how do we get the cash out and continue to put money in to create that generational wealth? That's what we do here. These are the modules. We're constantly teaching these throughout the class. We've got our own Telegram group where we're putting in deals, pitch decks, deal flow videos. We've got our own Discord group where we keep all of our decks as well. And this is it. This is the investment club. Right now, we've got 2 spaces left. It might be only 1 space left. Martini is dealing with all of this. We're oversubscribed as we always are. This is an investment. This is an investment in you and your future and your wealth for your family. And the investment in this course is $50,000 price tag. This will increase to 100,000 in our next cohort because everybody that came in on our last class said it was too cheap, or at least 4 or 5 people said, Brian, this is too cheap. You should double the price. And I said, you're right, we should. And look, it's a significant investment. I understand, but it's a significant result. And if you look at that 2000X investment, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know if you put 5 grand here or 10 grand here in a deal, it doesn't take but one to make a massive difference. Does that make sense to everybody here? By the way, you can choose to put as much as you want in any deal you want. You can put 0 if you want to pass. If you don't like David Broom swearing, you can say, I'm going to pass, Brian. If you want to put in as little as 5,000, you can put that. If you want to put in 50,000, you can put that. This is unheard of in the venture capital world. If you want access to these deals, you would have to write a check for $250,000 to one of the big funds like I've had on my show. And even then, you wouldn't get to choose the deals. They would put your money wherever they want to put your money in, right? That's how it works. It's a very rare opportunity. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. You get the option to invest in the hottest ones you want. And we only bring you the hottest deals we see. Again, this is very unique what we're doing. And I don't think anyone's going to copy this for a couple of years. Look, it's the greatest wealth creation event in human history. And this special investment opportunity, Zarka, is closing out on Friday. So you have to let us know if you want to get involved with this. I had a special investment opportunity on the last class, and it was a SAFT. Can everybody see here? This is a SAFT in the upper right-hand corner. It's a pre-sale token purchase agreement. I redacted some stuff out. And it was the option that you could have got in on this deal last time, but you didn't because you didn't join the course. At least some of you didn't. Maybe some did. And it was this. In one day, we made 466% return on the investment in one day. That's 5x return in one day. And this wasn't even a big deal. I made my members $300,000 in one day. All right. And like I said, this wasn't even a big deal. We did this because we were kind of bored and we had nothing else to do. This was a DeFi protocol. We heard it was hot. We knew the people. We checked it. We double checked it. We triple checked it. And then I said, look, let's do it. And we put some money in. We made some money. So this is what we do. We have a track record of success and we know what we're doing in this space. And so one thing I wanted to say is one of our founding members, Jens, he hit me up the other day and said, Brian, I got to make a video because people don't understand what we're doing in here. I was like, Jens, what are you talking about? He's like, people don't really get what happens inside this club. He's like, trust me, Brian, I'm going to make this video. Just check it out. I was like, okay, if you really think so. So this is Jens. He insisted that I play this for you. If you join, you will meet Jens. He was actually on the call last night and he'll be on the call on Thursday. But this is what Jens has to say about the investment club.
Why should you join the investment club? And the next obvious question is, can I afford to join the investment club? My name is Jens Krautscheid and I am an active investor in stocks and companies since age 14. And risking of stating the obvious, I'm German. Also, I am one of the founding members of the investment club. And I consider my decision to join the investment club as one of the best investment decisions I ever made and I ever will make. Why? We all had this pub talk, this talk at the dinner table where we complained about our hustle we have to do daily. We complained on the workload we have and we try to top up each other who has more stress, who is more hustling. And then sooner or later someone says, well, if I would have been an early stage investor in PayPal, I would be so rich. Or if I would have been an early stage investor in Microsoft, I would be so rich. And this is nice. This is really nice. But let's be honest. If you would have had the chance back then, 1992, to invest in PayPal, would you have pulled the trigger? Would you have invested? Quite likely you wouldn't have, because you couldn't assess the situation. You couldn't value the situation enough. In the investment club, we get these offers on a daily basis. We get the next PayPals on our table. And then we have a team of 50 people, 60 people, of a growing community of people who will do these assessments. And they will say, do this, buy this, this is the way. And then we buy this. And the next question is, can you afford to join the investment club? And the question really should be, can you afford not to join the investment club? Times are getting tougher. AI is taking over. And in what company you want to invest? In which AI company do you want to invest? Do you want to invest in the ones who do the fridges? Or do you want to invest in an early stage Coca-Cola who uses the fridges? It's up to your decision. I tell you now, invest in the investment club and be part of our fabulous, wonderful group. My name is Jens Krautscheid, and I wish you the best decisions of them all.
You like Jen's? Feeling the Jen's energy in there? Yeah. Look, everybody's like that in this club. It's full of some just really good people. We're all going to stick together. And one thing I didn't mention is that even though it's technically a one-year program, like no one's ever left. Because like, why would we want anyone to leave? People bring capital, they bring ideas, they bring deal flow. So for all I'm concerned, I think we're going to all just keep doing this until we don't. So at this point, it's been a lifetime deal. Again, one of my final thoughts is it only takes one of these. And it's something that Marianne, our Wall Street person, she said the first call. She said, Brian, only takes one. I said, what do you mean? She said, I know people that got involved in Facebook. I know people that got involved in Uber. I know people that got involved in these deals. One, and that changed everything. And she's right. One of these can create that generational wealth. And to not have part of your portfolio in this, you might as well not be investing, in my opinion. So final thoughts are, don't let 2023 pass you by. This opportunity will never happen again. It's going to be over very quickly when it comes to all AI innovation. Learn this early stage investing now, because that will be here forever. All this early stage stuff will be there forever. You want to learn it. Liquid tokens and equity have limited gains. Your share of Tesla, your Bitcoin, and your Ethereum is never going to go up 1,000x. It's just not. Your Bitcoin is not going to be worth $30 million. It's not. So why don't we position ourselves on something that is going to be worth that? You can learn from active investors, not people talking about it, not professors at MIT, not somebody that wrote a book. I'm talking about people that are cutting checks. We're cutting checks and breaking necks, as I like to say. $50,000 you can learn from active investors. It's a significant investment with a massive ROI. And thanks to Martini lobbying me last class, she convinced me to do a payment plan because we were missing good people that needed to get on the deal that week, and they were having some liquidity issues. So for 10K a month for 5 months, you can be in Zarka by Friday and be done. And it's the best deal flow in the world. We are only getting better and better and better. We are seeing the best of the deals. We're actually getting in on a deal right now that was already closed. It was closed to the public, closed to everybody, and someone is letting us in because of London Real. So it's just amazing. Honestly, I feel really humbled because we have this beautiful community full of amazing people. And look, the next steps is this. Martini is the one to call. She's our director of operations. She is the gatekeeper for the investment club. Ultimately, if you're interested in becoming a member, you have to convince her that you should be in there. She doesn't play around, Martini. She also is a big part of the club, and she invests alongside of us in these deals. If you want to connect to her, all of her details are here. You can email her at martini@londonville.tv. Facebook is a great way to connect with her. You can see her details, or you can book a call. Also, if you go to the investment club page, which is londonville.tv/IC, there's a book a call button and you can talk to her. One thing I would say is she's extremely busy because we are oversubscribed for this program. She's constantly dealing with people trying to find the right 1 or 2 people to fill these courses. So if you're going to talk to her, be serious about this and don't waste her time, or you can suffer her wrath forever. And that's up to you. Okay. But I've been on the wrong end of that and I don't want to. Okay. But if you are interested and you really want to look into this, she's an amazing person to speak to, and she's incredible. And she'll not only explain what's going on, but she'll be your guide in your entire, the entire lifetime you're with us in this group. So that's her details. And yeah, just at the end, it'd be really good to ask yourself, what is your why? When things get hard or challenging around here, I just think about, why am I doing this? Those guys make me do it. Those guys make me get up early. Those guys made me work on holidays. Apparently there's a holiday here today. I don't know, in England. But it's like, this is why I'm here, because this isn't just about creating the generational wealth that's going to potentially take care of them. Maybe this is about their very survival at this case. I don't say that lightly. So what is your why? Figure that out and decide accordingly is just my only advice. So there you go, folks. I'd love to answer some questions. Thank you all for being here. Was that helpful for anybody here? Did that open your eyes to some things? I hope it was. Look, I don't want to doom and gloom this stuff, but I will say that it's really got my attention and I don't see any way of stopping this. And that means sooner or later, these things will be more intelligent than us. And so unless we come up with a really good plan, we don't really have a whole lot of chances here. And honestly, I haven't seen a better plan than Zarka. I also have not seen any other opportunities of significance but Zarka. And maybe this is what the universe is giving us. Maybe this is giving this to London Real because maybe we deserve this. I don't know. But this is the only thing I've seen and also the best thing I've seen. And so it's our chance to change the future. And that's why this is all I'm talking about these days. That's why I'm trying to interview everybody on AI. I'm trying to have as many of these master classes to try to educate all of you to be aware of it and to just start learning it. I would start using it. And then if you can, join us and invest in it. It's going to be an incredible ride. We've got amazing people, an amazing group, and I think we can create the future as well. And again, if you don't want to be a victim to the future, then take some ownership of the future is what I would say. And yeah, there's a lot of downside, but I think we can change it. So I just want to say thank you to all the comments here. Just a bunch of people saying, just like they said, thank you. Some people had to jump. Some people were saying, a little bit worried about it. I'm talking about science fiction and Hollywood. Has anybody been watching Hollywood movies lately? I've watched like Terminator 2. It's a little scary. They're like they're going to kill the guy that created Skynet, and even though he's in the past. And it's just, you look at all these things and it's just all has a weird parallel to it. And I actually do worry a little bit about some of these AI guys. I think they're going to start to be targeted, and I think they need to really watch their backs because I think they'll be targets. And so I think a lot of this Hollywood fiction from the movie Ex Machina, has anyone seen that movie, to the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix, where we have these AI bots, this is all becoming real. And in the movie Her, Joaquin fell in love with his AI robot because she was cool, right? And in the end, she left him for another AI because the other AI was more interesting than him, right? Because that doesn't tell you everything. I don't know what would. So, or Ex Machina, he knows it's a machine. He's told it's a machine, and yet the machine tricks him into letting her go and everybody dies. It's because they're smarter than us. That's it. They're smarter than us. They're smarter, potentially 1 billion times smarter than us. And it doesn't matter at that point. It just doesn't matter because we won't be able to compete. And then I don't think we're going to get by on our good looks at that point. So we just need to be prepared. So again, I highly recommend just get up the curve on these things, listen to these people, be proactive, use this technology, learn this technology. And if you can, join us for this crazy ride is what I would say. So there you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. Happy bank holiday if you're in the UK. Book a call with Martini, and I hope I see you on Thursday for our investment club call. Big love to everybody. And if the AI is listening, I just want to welcome our future overlords. We love you guys. All right. Just joking. All right. Bye, everybody. All right. We'll see you next time. Take care.